Hi there, good morning everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday morning here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. We're halfway through the work week. All right, let's do it. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us in the Weather Center this morning, tracking a cooler morning. Thomas, it feels weird that we have to use that C word, cooler? Come on.
Yeah, and honestly, you could call it cold in a few spots. It's weird to say cold this time of year because the last week of July is typically our hottest point of the year, or at least on average it usually is. Now that's not to say we can't get a cold stretch of weather at some points during the summertime. This is the impact of Monday night's cold front, now feeling the full impacts of that. Here in Spokane, 53 degrees, you're saying, okay, that's a little bit cool, but the winds have calmed down, so that's not too bad, is it? Well, there were areas that dipped into the 30s this morning in Deer Park, and now that temperature just climbed that single degree back to 40 degrees. But look at Pullman as well, 43 currently. And I'm looking at the observation out of Moscow from our weather center here. It's also 42 there as well. So there are definitely some cool or outright cold spots because it is almost 15 or 20 degrees colder than at this point yesterday. Now, it can't get colder from here. It is all uphill in the temperature department, not just for this afternoon, but through the extended outlook.
Hunter Biden is expected to appear before a federal judge in Delaware today about his plea deal on tax evasion and gun charges. Now, that includes an agreement for the president's son to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of failing to pay federal income taxes in 2017 and 2018. We're taking a live look at the courthouse where he is scheduled to appear today. Now, he also agreed to enter a program that could dismiss a felony charge regarding unlawful possession of a gun.
Americans should not have to accept 2 tiers of justice in this country. One if your last name is Biden, and one for everybody else.
There is no evidence that Hunter Biden has received any kind of official favoritism in this prosecution for being Joe Biden's son.
Now, later this morning, we are expected to hear from Hunter Biden about his plea. We will get that live here on Up with KREM.
In just a few hours, our country could be finding out more about unidentified flying objects. A former intelligence officer and Navy pilots are scheduled to testify at a hearing this morning about their personal experiences. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones telling us more about what's expected to come from this hearing. A lot of people will be watching this one, Brandon.
Yeah, Tim, and over the last few years, a handful of UFO videos have been declassified, and now several members of Congress want the Pentagon to come clean and reveal what it knows about what they now call unidentified anomalous phenomena. 366 reports of these flying objects have been made since March of 2021. Today, former intelligence officer David Grush will tell Congress he was denied access to information on a decades-long secret UFO crash retrieval program. The House Oversight Committee will also hear from retired Navy Commander David Fravor. Fravor says the military witnessed objects descend 60,000 feet per second.
I don't know who's building it, who's got the technology, who's got the brains, but there's something out there that was better than our airplane.
Fravor also said that he once tried to intercept a UFO off the San Diego coast several years ago, about the size of an F-18 with no markings, control surfaces, or obvious signs of propulsion. The Pentagon has denied any knowledge of extraterrestrial contact, and there are still plenty of skeptics who want to see more than witnesses' testimony. But for now, today's hearing is scheduled for 7 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll be watching for any updates. Live in the newsroom, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Just about 6:05 right now, time for your morning rush. More news in less time. What started as a dramatic situation ended calmly last night after people across Spokane got an emergency notification saying that the bomb squad was on the South Hill and that neighbors needed to shelter in place. Within an hour, we learned from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office that the squad was investigating 2 old sticks of dynamite. The people who reported them owned the home where the dynamite was found and believed that they belonged to a relative who used to work in the mines. The bomb squad concluded that there was no threat and removed the dynamite. The Spokane City Council voted to approve Lyndon Smithson as the permanent city attorney in a vote on Monday night. Now, this vote comes more than 1 year after Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward named him interim city attorney. The mayor does have the power to appoint an interim city attorney. However, there was some controversy during the council meeting because, according to the city charter, a permanent appointment must be presented to the council within 30 days. Smithson was ultimately appointed with a 4-1 vote. Well, this Saturday, the Inland Northwest Disability Experience is hosting its 33rd anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act and Resource Fair. The event is called Building Bridges, and it's to celebrate Disability Pride Month. And this event is free for everyone. You can join in on the festivities around the Orange Bridge and Rotary Foundation in Riverfront Park from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. And that's a look at your morning rush. Well, this morning we are tracking several wildfires burning in our region. Right now, level 1 Be Ready evacuation orders are in place for a fire burning in Whitman County.
The Wawaway fire has already burned nearly 500 acres, and this morning the fire is threatening crops and grazing land, as well as critical infrastructure, including 911 towers. Dozens of firefighters are working on the ground while helicopters have been attacking from the air. At last check, the fire is 0% contained. Meanwhile, the Porcupine Bay fire in Lincoln County is also prompting level 1 evacuations for Porcupine Road and Highway 25 this morning. The fire has burned about 20 acres so far. Air resources have been deployed to help fight the fire. The last update we got from the sheriff's office said they expect the fire spread to slow as the winds slow down as well.
And right now, level 2 gets set and level 3 go now evacuation orders are in place for a wildfire burning in Klickitat County in southern Washington. The Newell Road fire is now threatening homes near Roosevelt and Bickleton. The fire has burned nearly 60,000 acres and is 20% contained. This morning, Highway 14 between Highway 97 and Interstate 82 is closed in both directions for emergency response. A firefighter was injured yesterday morning. We're told that his water tanker rolled over and that he had to be airlifted to the hospital. There's no word right now on his condition.
6:07 in our weather forecast. Very much cool or almost outright cold first thing this morning. This is the impact of that cooler air mass that has started to settle in for the Pacific Northwest. The cold front responsible for that moved through Monday night, and now we're just bottoming out temperature-wise. From here on out, we'll see those temperatures certainly moderate, not just between the low and the high temperature today, but day after day we'll start to get warmer and warmer until we get to this weekend where it will be near 90 degrees. But even this afternoon, very comfortable with a high of about 82 in Spokane, some mid-80s for central Washington. But that warm up is just beginning because by next week in early August, we should be well above average and back into the 90s.